everyone, so today I've got the Natasha Denona Golden Collection. This has to be the collection I've been most excited about this year as soon as I saw it. I am a huge fan of Natasha Denona, especially the eyeshadows. I am a collector and I cannot wait to try these on. I really can't. So here in this video now I'm going to show you swatches in the daylight of all of the collection, everything including the gloss, and I will then be showing you two looks with the eyeshadow on my eyes, one each side, making them very different so we can see the two sort of different vibes you can get with this palette. And with the highlight I'm going to try to use all three shades because otherwise I can't see the point of having this. Can I make this work? Let's see what I can do with this. And with the gloss I'm going to try it on its own and as a topper. And if you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 47, I'm not a professional, just somebody who really loves makeup and beauty. I upload here at least twice a week on my channel and I would love it so much if you could like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And my skin type, if that's helpful to you, I've got fair to light skin with neutral undertones and I've got combination skin with a slightly oily T-zone. Not particularly useful today for this collection, but just in case you wanted to know with colour matches. Anyway, let's get on with this video. So before I start these looks, I'm just going to show you videos of the entire collection swatched out in the natural sunlight yesterday. So here are those clips for you.
You're something beautiful, electric chemical. You take my breath away, feel my emotions push and pull. Shooting stars in your eyes. You're something beautiful, electric chemical. You take my breath away, feel my emotions push and pull. Shooting stars in your eyes, you're bringing me to life. Love how you say my name, you make it feel like summertime. When you reach out your hand, I find myself again. Electric wonderland, no, I just can't get enough. You feel like you're something beautiful.
So here is this eyeshadow palette. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? It just looks like it's melting gold or a melting bar of chocolate. I really love it. But I do have to say, you get fingerprints on this instantly. I have literally wiped this down like crazy and tried not to touch it just so I can show you on camera. So it won't look as shiny as this unless you're prepared to buff it up on a daily basis, but it is absolutely beautiful. So this retails for £66. There was an original gold palette from Natasha Denona which was much bigger and much more expensive. I don't actually have that one in my collection, and only 6 shades from this palette are new shades, so there are lots of repeats from the old gold. And this palette contains 7 mattes in the famous cream and pressed powder finish, 5 high shine golden and vivid antique brass metallics, a nude sparkling foiled champagne, a chroma crystal topper with a diamond-like finish, and a golden nude wet effect formula. So this is packed full of lots of formulas from Natasha, which for me is brilliant because I love to try all of the formulas and I love these new really impactful glimmery shiny formulas that Natasha has started adding to these palettes. So I cannot wait to try this. I also have a 15% discount code for Natasha's website, so if that's useful to you, the code is my full name. I'll put that for you now below and that will get you 15% off. I was asked by one of my subscribers, Kim, if the new Bobbi Brown Kerry Rosenthal collection quad had any similarities to this palette. So I'm going to just show you how these two here do have some similarities. There's no point me swatching these two shades here from it because they are not very similar. So I'll just show you these two. So this is Skyline and this is Bronze Lights from the Bobbi Brown Luxe Quad. It's called the Moonstruck Luxe Eyeshadow Quad. And the two shades I think are a bit similar are Fizzy from the new Gold palette, and this is in the Sparkling Wet Effect Golden formula, and Carver. And Carver is described as a sparkling champagne gold. So there's Fizzy and there's Carver, and here are the two Bobbi Browns. I have to say the Bobbi Browns have a little bit more impact for me than these two, but they are pretty similar. I think this one and this one are particularly similar. And I'm not going to go through all sorts of palettes here and do any swatches, but if you would like me to make some comparisons with anything, and if I've got it in my collection, I will do that for you. I'm happy to create videos on my shorts so you can see the comparisons between them, so please do message me if that's useful to you. The only ones that I wanted to look at was this Empowered Huda palette. Has got two gold shades here. And the reason I really wanted to check this is because these are two of the shades from the Empowered palette, which I really didn't like on me, which makes me very curious how I will feel about the strong gold in the new Natasha palette. So I'm going to swatch these two. So from the Huda palette, this one is Limitless. Look at that, it is incredible. And this one is Charisma. It was Charisma that particularly didn't work for me. So in the Natasha palette, the most gold colour is called Aura. So you can see it's definitely quite different to these. And then the other one, which could be looked at, probably not that similar though, is called Aurum. So these are the two. I definitely straight away prefer these two in the Natasha palette actually. I do love the Huda palette Empowered, but these two shades were just too much for me. I think these ones just look a little bit more elegant. I prefer the finish. These ones are just too shiny and a little bit too yellow. So anyway, they were the only ones that really I thought, will this be similar and will this put me off using those shades? But I will not try them, and in this video I'm definitely going to try Aura because I want to see how that bright gold looks on me. And one last thing to show you is that I know that some people loved the old Gold palette because it had those deep jade green shades in, which people are missing from this. Now that's not something I can show you again because I don't have that palette, but I did think that the Byredo Mineralscapes palette, which came out this year, has those sorts of shades in. So I just wanted to quickly show you that. God, the mirror is so messy. I'll show you this way. I just wanted to quickly show you that because I think that these shades here, this one and this one, could possibly work. So if you have this one in your collection from this year and you'd like to try out whether the gold shades work nicely with these sorts of shades, this one is a bit more of a blue, but still I think these could work, maybe this one as well, so you can give yourself that jade / gold effect that everyone apparently really loved from the old Gold palette. And before I start the eyeshadow, I'm actually going to put this gloss on because this is supposed to have a plumping effect, so I'm going to try it on its own so we can see if it does plump. And at the end I will wipe it off and use it as a topper. Using it as a topper would be my personal preferred way of using this, but I'd like to see the plumping effect on its own. When I swatched this yesterday for my video, it left a red mark, so I'll just do that again on my skin as well so I can show you what I mean. It didn't sting, but it left a really deep red mark. So I'm going to put some on my arm here so we can look afterwards to see if I've got redness here. So this Golden Glimmer Gloss is £28, described as a clear oil gloss formula that illuminates the lips with iridescent golden sparkles while delivering the benefits of a hydrating oil. Hybrid shimmering lip plumper subtly tingles to give the lips visible volume, high shine mirror finish, leaving them with a noticeably plumped effect. So we'll see how this tingles, if it's comfortable and if it plumps. There's no smell as in sweet vanilla or anything like that you get with glosses. It's almost a bit chemically, but not overpowering or off-putting really. Well, it's comfortable. It's not super thick. I'd say it's somewhere between very light and thick. So it's not as thick as the Dior. I can feel it tingling straight away actually. Not burning at the moment, but definitely tingling. It's not that cool tingling like you get with the Charlotte Tilbury Plumpgasm. It's okay at the moment, it's not uncomfortable. So that's how that is looking. I can feel the tingling sensation getting more intense now. And you can see here my arm isn't red at all, so we'll go back to that to see if that's happened again at the end. So the two shades I think would work best on me as a transition and crease is this one Fresh and this one Aria. So I'm going to try one on each eye so we can see if there's much difference between them. And I'm using my T4 Sonia G brush, so I'm going to start with Fresh. So I'm going to start by placing this in the outer V area and then just working it across to the whole of my crease. I've already got concealer and powder on the top, so I'm able to swipe because I don't need to worry about it sticking because I've powdered down. This is one of my absolute favourite type of shades actually for transition. I really like this. And it's got quite a lot of colour considering how light it looks in the palette. So for me, I would definitely not go up to any of the stronger shades as a first transition. I haven't put any more on the brush and it's really building up here. And I'm going to take it underneath using my T1 brush. And then just buff around the edges with a clean, fluffy brush. So now I'm going to go in with Aria on the other side. I've just cleaned off this brush. I'm going to use the same brush so it's exactly the same application. And this one, from the look of it, should have a bit more depth. I'm not seeing an awful lot of difference between these two at the moment. What do you think? And then taking T1 underneath like I did on the other side. And then taking a fluffy brush to just go around the edges. But as always with Natasha Denona, her powders are just so easy to work with that I haven't really had to do an awful lot. And again, using these Sonia G brushes as well. They do the work for me, so it's a magic combination really. So this side has got the Aria, and this is not a new one, this was in the old gold palette, and this is described as a matte medium light dusty sand. And on this side is Flesh, and this is a new shade. This is described as a matte light warm nude. So for me the difference is this one comes across much more warm and this one maybe a little bit less warm, a little bit more cool maybe. So I can see a difference now that I'm looking at it. Now I've done the under eyes especially, so there is a difference. Now for adding some depth to the outer V of my eye, the only shade I think that works for me in the whole palette is this one here, which is Teak. And Teak is a matte medium dusty caramel. It's not a new shade, this was in the original gold. I could also go in here with this one here, which is Log, and Log is a matte dark brown, but this is the darkest in the palette, so this is the one I would use as my liner. One look you could make is just a thick liner and wing and then slightly smudge it out so you get a bit of depth going across like this. But I want to make both of these looks very similar, just with different shades. So I think what I'm going to have to do is use this one for both now to add that bit of depth in the outer V, and then I will use different shades on the overall lid. So I've got my T4 brush and I'm going to just tap this to see how deep it is. It didn't look too deep in the palette. That's a really nice one actually. I don't want this to be super dark, so I definitely wouldn't use Log. If you've got different, deeper skin tones to me, Log might be the perfect choice for you for this outer V area. But for my skin tone, that really is a perfect combination look. Just look how easily they blend into each other without me doing hardly anything. When it comes to formula, Natasha Denona is unbeatable, isn't she? I'm taking this and stopping just about halfway and then bringing it out here. And then taking it on the T1 brush and also running this underneath. I'm not going the whole way like I did with my transition, just stopping midway. I'm happy with that. I don't think I'd want to do any more, and I've spent less than about a minute doing that, so that really does show how user-friendly Natasha Denona formulas are. I'll just do the other side a sec. So that's both eyes done now with Teak in the outer V and in the outer third underneath as well. So now it's time to move on to the sparkle, so I'm definitely going to change it up on both sides. So this side was the slightly cooler and this was the slightly warmer with the transition. Not that you can really see that now, but that's how I will decide this. So being slightly warmer this side, I'm going to go for that really bright gold. Now this is the shade that really does have the wow factor, Aura. Here's Aura. This is a metallic gold, and this is the one I said at the beginning I was a bit concerned about because I didn't like this sort of gold on me. So let's just see how this looks, but it doesn't look as yellow and bright as that one in the Huda palette, so hopefully I will like it. It is really shiny. I would recommend using your fingers to apply these if you want maximum impact. One alternative is to use a brush that you've sprayed first with water or setting spray, a flat brush. I'm going to take this to the first 2/3 of the lid and now go in with a fluffy brush. Take a little bit of teak back on the brush just to bring it back a bit there where I might have lost it from doing that. And I'm going to take a little bit of teak to go underneath as well. So I'm applying this with a brush. Can you see how the impact is that much less? So I'd need to wet the brush if I wanted that much impact, but I don't actually want that much. I just like it to be a little bit more muted, so I'm quite happy to use the brush for this. And for the inner third, I'm going to go in with Aura. And Aura is one of the new shades, and it's a metallic golden ivory. So I've taken this on my little finger and I'm going to place this in the inner third and bring it to meet. So this is two metallics together, so I've got a very metallic eye right now. And then pop the same underneath. And using my 207 brush, I'm going to go into this one here. This is one of the new shades. This is called Milko, and this is the cream to powder, and it says it's an off-white. You do need a bit of a dense brush when using the cream to powder formula because it doesn't tend to pick up or develop as much colour. That for me is a perfect inner corner, and I thought because I've got such a sparkly eye, I'd like to have a bright inner corner without the sparkle. That's a really good shade for that. And using my T5 brush, I'm going to take some of this under the brow as well. So using this brush, which is a bit more fluffy, it hasn't picked up as much. So can you see the difference between the impact under the brow and in the inner corner? And that was because I used a dense brush for the inner corner, and this one is a little bit more fluffy, which is giving me just what I want for under the brow right now. But if you wanted more impact there, I would go in with a more dense brush because this cream to powder is very subtle. So now using my liner brush, I'm going to go into Log. So this is the matte dark brown, and the only shade in the palette that I would say is going to work as a liner. It's good that there is a liner option in the palette. It's not a black. Some people might prefer black, and black would look really nice up against the gold. For me personally, I try to avoid black usually. I find it a bit too harsh on me, especially as I've gotten older. I find browns more complementary, so I'm quite happy to have a dark brown. I'm taking this up for a little bit of a wing here, and then take it tight line across here to the lashes, about halfway. So that's this eye finished. I do like the gold so far. It'd be interesting to see how it looks with mascara, but I definitely do like it. I wouldn't like it all over the lid. I think breaking it up a little bit with this shade, the, what was it called? The Aura, the white metallic, ivory metallic. I think that made it better. I really do like this. Perfect summer look, isn't it? Anyway, let's move on to this one. And I'll be going into Nubia again using my finger. This is one of the new shades, and this is a sparkling foiled gold nude champagne. And when I saw this swatched, this was the one I was probably most excited about. This really is my type of shade. Now I would want this all over the lid with that pop of white because I think that's a perfect look. I want to try at least one more colour for you today, so I am going to mix it with something. But this would be a lovely one and done actually. I think a lot of the shades in this palette would be really good as one and done. So if you're looking for sort of multi-purposes from the palette, you're definitely going to get that, because these sort of really impactful shades will be lovely one and done. So they can be mixed together, but I think a lot of them speak for themselves. They can stand alone and they don't need to be mixed. I'm just checking, I haven't had any fallout that I can see. Maybe a tiny little bit of sparkle actually on my face there, but at the same time I'm wearing a bronzer, the Armani bronzer, which has got a bit of a sparkle in it, so no, I don't think I've had any fallout. I've tapped off every time, but yeah, I haven't had fallout, but I would still tap off because quite a bit of powder comes off when I do tap off. So taking it on the T1 brush, I'm just going to run this underneath to match, and again I'm not going to wet it. I just want it to be a bit more subtle than above. I really like that, you know, underneath. Really pretty. Now if I wasn't doing a review, like I said, I'd either take it all over or I'd use this one again, the shade that I used in this look, the Ivory, which I think is the only one really that's going to have a real contrast with any of these on the eyes. I think, I'm trying to think now which one to use, and I think I'll go for Fizzy because this is probably the lightest, but I don't think you can really get much contrast between any of them. Maybe this one and this one, there's a little bit of contrast. This one we saw was a massive contrast, but if you mix this and this, I have swatched them together on my arm and you just don't really see an awful lot of difference between the two. So this is the shade on my eye now, so I'm going to mix this one, but I don't think it's going to show up much, so I would personally choose to mix these two again. I think that'd be a lovely combination. By the way, I just want to show you my arm. Remember I said how red it went from using the gloss yesterday? So it's not burning, it's not hurting at all, but look how red it is. And this is what happened to my hand yesterday, and it stayed like it for a good hour. So definitely worth keeping this in mind if you use this gloss, because you don't want to be going outside. Sorry, I've just gone off topic here with the eyeshadows, but I just noticed how red it was, so I wanted to show you when it's at its peak. And my lips, I think they look a bit more red as well, so maybe that's part of it, that it just brings the blood to the surface, which I know is the purpose of these plumping glosses. So yeah, I do think my lips look more pink. I don't think they look any bigger. They're comfortable, the tingling sensation went very quickly actually, and it's not bothering me at all. It's got a nice shine to it, and it's a bit more pink. So that's basically what I'm getting from this gloss. Anyway, let's finish this eye look off. So I'm taking Fizzy on my little finger. Fizzy is another new shade, and it's the Sparkling Wet Effect Golden Nude. So let's see if I can get a bit of contrast here. I think you'll see what I mean straight away here, how the difference is just minimal, and if anything maybe it's a bit deeper. So it's not really giving me what I wanted. I think, again, this looks like a beautiful shade, doesn't it? But it would definitely be better all over the lid and not mixed with another shade, in my opinion. I am just going to put a bit of that aura like I did on the other side, because I want that contrast, but I don't know if it's too late now because I'm putting it on over Fizzy. No, that hasn't really done much because Fizzy's already there, so I'll just have to leave it as it is. You can see the difference is really, really minimal, so I would definitely not do that. I think that all of these shades are really pretty, but they need to be standalones with maybe a pop in the inner corner, which is what I'll do next. I'll just take a bit of Fizzy underneath just to stick with the theme. And now I'm going to put the Milko in the inner corner. Really is perfect, this. I really like this for the inner corner, as I did on this side. I'm bringing it up a little bit to the bridge of the nose. It's really brighten this whole area. And again, taking Milko under the brow. And now I'm going to use the eyeliner brush to put Log on exactly the same way I did this side. Then I'll put my mascara on and we'll be back to see the final look. So that's both looks done. I've gone in with a dark brown mascara in keeping with this sort of softer look. So if you went with a black mascara and a black liner, you would definitely get more impact. But I don't think that that is the way this palette is supposed to be. There is no black in the palette, so you might want to add that in though, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I think it would definitely work. But for me personally, what looks best on my sort of skin tone and what I like, I love the browns. So I think this has shown here that you can get two pretty different looks with this palette. A lot of people have thought it's going to be the same look every time, but you can definitely do that. But what I think is going to happen is you're going to have a variation of this look or this look, and they won't be strikingly different. So if I went in now and did another 2 looks, you would probably think, like I said, that one's a bit similar to this or this. But I do think the options in this palette are phenomenal. I think you could get so many one and done. Slightly change the transition and go in with this one here, Sandstone. I didn't use that one. It's a little bit deeper than these 2. So I would alternate between these 3. I'll probably try this one next. But again, I don't think we're going to see an awful lot of difference. This one would be a bit deeper, I think, and it's a bit more cool toned. And I would definitely be using this for my outer V to give me that bit of depth for every single look. And this one I'll be using for the liner, and this one for the inner corner pop, as we saw now. So it's then just a question of which 1 or 2 to use on the lid. And I loved mixing these 2, and I'm definitely going to experiment with mixing this with other shades because I think it could really work. Obviously it didn't work so well there because it was over fizzy. But I'll also be trying shades like these all over the lid. This one here is a bit of a deeper brown shimmer, so this one and this one actually would be fabulous together. So this one would be a slightly different look actually compared to all 3. It's called K.I.S.S.I.N.G. I'll actually swatch the 2 together so you can see what I mean. So this is K.I.S.S.I.N.G, and then Aura on the inner third. I think that would make a really nice look, and that would be very different. So that'd be more of a neutral brown look. So that is actually a third. So I think there are quite a few effects you can get from this palette actually, and it doesn't have to come out the same every time at all. So I can't wait to play around with this one more. I'd love to hear if you've already got the palette, what sort of colours are you loving the most, which are your favourite combinations, and if you haven't bought it, will you be getting it, and what colours are screaming at you that you can't wait to try. But so far I'm really loving this palette. I expected absolutely nothing less. This is so beautiful. I think I might just prefer that, which I wasn't expecting, but hard to say. I love them both, I really do. 10 out of 10. Love this. I love everything about it. So easy to use. The formulas are fantastic and it's just beautiful. So I think this would still look good in autumn and at Christmas, because golds at Christmas look lovely. So this doesn't have to just be a summer palette either. It can be an all year palette. So perfect. And it's perfect for those really nice evenings out when you want to dress up and feel all sparkly and beautiful. So yes, big thumbs up from me for this. So before I move on to the highlighters, I'm going to take this off my lips. I just wanted to give my lips a little bit of time to breathe before I apply a lipstick and then the gloss on top. So now I'm going to look at this highlighter palette. So this is the Golden Highlighter Trio, and this is £52. Now Natasha says that this can be used for everybody, all skin tones, but I do believe that this deeper shade is more intended for the eyes. And I do think, and that's definitely something I'll try, I might even create a shorts video doing it, that this and this particularly would be really nice on the eyes. So in the same way that we did this today. So this is more of a coppery shade. The 2 together, I'll just show you on my arm. So I'd use that on the first 2/3 of the lid and this on the inner third, and I think they will look absolutely gorgeous together. This shade I think would look good all over the eye as a one and done. All 3 would, but for me personally, that's how I'd be using this one on the eyes. I wanted to see though, can I get away with trying to use this on the face, because we've had a lot of highlighters recently with a lot of colour in, and they've worked quite well as blushes. So I'm not saying this is a blush, it's a an alternative to a lot of bronzer and a lot of blush. So what I've done today is I haven't put a lot of either on. So my cheeks are slightly contoured with a tiny bit of bronzer, but not too much. So I'm going to try a tiny bit of this with a blush brush just to see if I can get use out of it, because £52 is a lot of money, and I really want to see, can this be used for eyes and face and fully use the palette in every single way. If you're going to buy this, you really do need to get your money's worth. So let's just see if that works. It could be a total disaster because this is obviously way too strong. So I'm not using it as a highlighter. I'm going in with my Rapha brush. I'm just going to tap. I'm going to take it here as I would with a blush. So obviously it's going to be very shiny, so if you're going to try this, you're not going to like it if you're somebody who doesn't like to have a lot of shine on the cheeks. You can see straight away that this has given me quite a bit of colour and shine. So it works as a sort of golden shiny blush. I think it works actually. It certainly complements the eye look, doesn't it? Reminds me a little bit of some of the ones I've tried. The highlighter I had from MAC in the Teddy Forever, that was a bit like this. It had a rosy gold tint. And that was a highlighter which I use as a blush. It definitely doesn't need more because it's giving me that colour look. Well, I think that worked, you know. I didn't think it was going to. I thought it was going to be too strong. But I think it does. Let's do the same on the other side. And then go in with a Buffer Pro and a bit of finishing powder on the brush to soften this out a little bit. So there we have this deepest shade being used as a blush, bronzer, highlighter all in one over the cheeks, and I think it really works. It certainly goes with the eye look. So this one is called Golden Bronze. So now I'm going to try this one, which is called Sun Glow and Nude Gold. I'm going to go in with my Sonia G Fan Pro. I'm going to try each of these one either side to see what the difference is. So this is the Nude Gold. I'm just trying this on the top here. I really like this actually. Surprised how I like the two together. The whole cheek of highlight, and I like it, even though I've got 47-year-old skin. And obviously it is going to show my texture off, but not in a way that's bothering me. I think certainly wearing a tan, or if you've got darker skin to me, this is a really suitable highlight. So there we have the bronze and the Sun Glow together. I think they definitely work, you know. But looking at Sun Glow, I definitely use it as a standalone highlight over just a normal blush as well, because I think that's a really nice shade. I really like the line that's given me there, and it's blended out so easily, and it's not, I'm not having to really blend it out. I don't want the buffer brush to do it. It's blended in very nicely. So now on this side, I'm going to try the lighter one. I do think, because I've got quite a lot of deep shades on my face, this could be a bit too bright, but let's see. This one is called Pearl, a Soft Golden Champagne. Now this is a colour I definitely go for the most for my skin tone, and a colour I would use a lot in the winter as well. But it's not too bright actually up against these deep shades. Oh, I like that. I think I prefer it actually to this. I didn't think it was going to work as well, but I do like it up against the bronze, the golden bronze. These are the two I said would work really nicely on the eyes. So if you wanted to have a really cohesive look, using these two on the eyes and on the cheeks together, that would be a really golden summer goddess look, wouldn't it? And then if you enjoyed that look, this would be perfect for travel, wouldn't it? Because that's your eyes and cheeks covered. You don't really need a blush, a bronze or a highlight for the cheek area anyway. You'd need a bronze for here, because I wouldn't use this on the forehead. Yeah, I really like that. This could be a really good packing for summer option, you know. So I'm going to take the light one again, the pearl down the nose and above the Cupid's bow. And I forgot to mention that the formula is the hybrid gel powder, and this highlighter can also be used on your collarbones. I won't be doing that today because I've got way too much going on in my neck area. It would definitely work for that if you wanted to highlight those areas. And it also says it can be used on the lips, so you could put the powder on the lips and then the gloss on top and have a really, really cohesive look. But I'm going to today do with my lips what I would most like to do. So I'm going to go in with a lipstick first. Now this is one of my favourites from Charlotte Tilbury, and it's a shade I think works well with this overall colour. This is from the Kissing formula, and this is called Stoned Rose. So this is a shade I love to use with these summer colours, golds, so lovely, lovely shade. Now what I like to do with this is I like to use the Pat McGrath Gold Lip Gloss. So I just wanted to compare the two. This is actually one of my favourite lip glosses in my collection. So I'll swatch this on the back of my hand so you can see how this looks. So that's the Pat McGrath. It really is stunning. So here is the Natasha Denona, and you can see that it's got less colour. There's more gold in the Pat one, so I'm not sure I'm going to like it as much as Pat. Rather than turning the doe foot completely brown, I'm just going to take some on my finger So I'm applying that much as I would a lip balm really, just so I don't mess it up, because it then transfers into the gloss and starts looking all mucky. So there it is as a topper on top of that Stoned Rose lipstick shade. I don't think you can see an awful lot of shine with it though. It's definitely not giving me Pat McGrath vibes. So, and I didn't see any plumping effect. So the only effect I got from this earlier was a bit of pink. So I'm not really that bothered about this gloss. So if you were looking at this collection, I don't think I'd be recommending the gloss quite so much. It's good, it works if you want that sort of shiny topper, but I've got a lot of those in my collection and I bet you do too, so it's up to you, but I wouldn't be highly recommending this anyway, but everything else I would. So that's my final look using this Golden collection, and it was as fantastic as I thought it would be. I am really truly excited about using this palette again. I'm going to be using it all summer now. It's going to be my go-to, I know it is. Nothing is going to beat this for me. Well, I'd be surprised if anything did. If it can, then please do, because I love being impressed by eyeshadows, but I don't think anything will beat this for me. Not just for the summer, but for the year. I really, really love this. This is probably my favourite palette from Natasha since the I Need a Nude. It's very different to I Need a Nude. For a glam look, I prefer it to I Need a Nude. The I Need a Nude, I think, is more of an everyday sort of palette, which I think is why it's so popular. You can ramp it up, but this one, you can feel that sort of glamour. So yeah, I really, really, really love this. So do I recommend it? Oh yes, I do. If you love eyeshadows and you love golds and you love browns and you love shimmer and you like to apply things easily without much effort, nothing beats Natasha Denona. She is right at the top for me. Love her. And the bronze palette, sorry, the highlight palette, which I've sort of used as a bronze slash blush, has taken me by surprise, because I must admit when I came up with this idea to try it on the cheeks like this, I thought it was going to be a disaster, but I'm really pleased with the way this is finished. So I will definitely be doing a shorts video using just this on cheeks and eyes, using no blusher and no deep bronze anyway on the cheeks. So you can see how that looks as a cohesive look. Can't wait to try that now actually. So that's it from me for today. I really hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have absolutely loved making it. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for returning. I really do appreciate every single one of you so very much. And if you're not subscribed, please, please do. I'd love to see you for my next video. And I hope to see all of you for my next video. Take care everybody. Bye.